Hi guys, in this video we're going to be painting this cute little moose. I have my paint put on my plate. You're going to need a jar of water for cleaning brushes or a cup or a bowl, whatever. And then just an assortment of brush sizes for, different areas, or bigger, smaller, and, detail-y stuff. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, and a paper towel. Sorry. Paper towel for drying off your brushes. So I'm gonna get started and I'm gonna work on the background area first. I'm gonna make like a very light peach color. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this, it's called Venetian red. It's like a burnt orange. A little bit of that on my brush. And I'm gonna stir it in with quite a bit of white. It's gonna be a very pastel, light color. So something about like that. I shouldn't have ruined all my white. And then just go in, oh, maybe a little bit more color in that. That's pretty pale still. Stir in a little bit more. Let's give it a, so I mean, we still have some color to it, but it's still very light. Then I'm just gonna go in and paint everything around my little moose. Be careful in these little areas around the antler and the ear. Just take your time. Try to have nice thin paint. You don't want globs. Just get it spread out all over. Okay, we got our background all filled in. So next we're gonna start working on our moose. I'm gonna get my brush cleaned out and we're gonna mix up some paint. I'm gonna make up some brown. And to make brown, I'm going to be mixing equal parts. So I'm gonna start with a dark brown of this orange, burnt orange, and black. And you're just gonna stir that together until you get a nice dark brown. Okay. So I'm gonna just take a scoop of this to the side. I'm gonna leave a lot of that. I don't know if I'm in view. I'm gonna leave a lot of that dark brown over there for later. Yeah, let me put some back. And with this, we're going to lighten it. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this peach color just because it's not gonna affect the shade of my brown, and I have so much of it and I don't need it. Rather than use just plain white, I'll save that for something else. I'm just gonna stir the white in until I get a nice light shade. So I'm gonna probably another scoop. So I get like this kind of grayish tan. So I keep stirring. Get it all together here. So about like that. You just want to make sure it's a fairly light shade. And I'm gonna go in and paint his head. I'm gonna go around the eyes. And I'm gonna go around the like little snout area here. Oops. His head just got a little bigger over there. It's a little tricky with these tiny canvases sometimes. All the spaces get little. And I'm gonna do like the neck, chest area. Go around the mouth. I'm gonna flip this just so I can get the bottom easier. Okay. So we've got kind of our medium brown color on there. And on the side of his body, I'm gonna just kind of like flip out my paintbrush to give him like little fur. So I'm using my brush on the like the narrow edge, and I'm just gonna kind of give this a little unevenness. So he's kind of furry on the side of his body. Same with this side. Okay. So next I'm gonna lighten this up a little bit. The same color. I'm just gonna take a big old scoop of my white. Pretend it's white. Because that little bit of orange isn't gonna really affect it because there's orange in my brown. So So I've got this lighter shade. And I'm going to start brushing kind of up on his forehead. And around. I'm going to come down under the eye here. And under this one. It's kind of curved on the edge. Coming above the eye. And up here on the top of the head, you can just kind of get outside your edge a little to kind of give him like little fur off the head. I'm doing this kind of rough because I want it to have like a little bit of a texture. Then I'm coming off like the bridge of, I guess it's a nose, if you will. I'm just gonna kind of flick up. And we can add, we're gonna be adding some darker browns in on top, and we'll add some lighter browns again also. We're just kind of layering on, getting different pieces kind of placed. I'm gonna brush in a little bit of fur on his body. Leaving a lot of that other color that we painted originally kind of show. And now I'm going to go in with some very dark brown. I'm going to use a smaller brush this time just because I want a little bit better control over where I'm placing it. So this dark brown that we kind of reserved earlier, we'll be using that. And it was just the orange and the black mixed together. So I'm going to come kind of neatly around the sides of the little snout here. And I'm going to come up little lines. And they're going to come up into this lighter color. You can have like long ones here and there. But this whole bottom part that's right above the little snout is going to be filled in. For now. I'm going to go around the eye. Yeah, maybe a few up in here. And then down on his body, I'm gonna focus a lot under his little mouth because I want that nice and dark. And then I'm gonna flick down for like little furs. A thicker patch there, and it's very awkward with my easel, sorry. And then on here at the bottom, kind of flicking up, put a dark patch in. Over here, a little bit more dark. And some on the edges. So we've got his body, we've got his head. I think the head looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit thicker right here. Smooth that out a little. I'll likely go back in and adjust things as I'm working. Let's see. I'm gonna add a little bit more, another little shade of brown in. I feel like I need a little bit more orange tone in some of my brown. So this medium color that we used to paint like the base coat when we first started, this color, I'm gonna add more orange to it. Orange it up a little. And a little bit more black, just a smidge. And with that color, I'm just gonna add in a few more little furs just for a little variation in color. So maybe just a little through the body. And I'm gonna get some up on his head. I should probably use a smaller brush. I don't want it to take over. Just gonna flick in few more little furs. Come on the nose some, maybe under the eyes. Give him some few furs on the head. Could even in the dark put a little bit of the reddish, orangish brown, I guess, rather. There, I think that's cute. Now we're going to do the antlers. So they're kind of like a bluish, grayish color. I'm gonna get that mixed up. So I'm mixing with my medium-sized brush. It's just easier to stir my paint that way. And I'm gonna take a lot of my white and just a little bit of blue. It doesn't take much blue. The blue is very strong. My brush is a little dirty, but that's okay. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of red to it. Kind of periwinkle. So I like the color I've got going here. I just want it to be a little bit darker. So I'm just gonna add more blue and then just a little bit more red. I just had a lot of white in it. Oops, I got a lot of red. Ooh, don't want that. Got a little, but that's okay. So I've got like this periwinkle color. And I'm gonna start at the base of my antler and kind of come around the edge. Basically just kind of a very kind of quick outline just to get a lot of this color on. And then I'll clean out my brush and just use a smaller brush because it's gonna get a little hairy in those smaller spots. I'm just gonna take plain white paint and start blending that blue through the rest of the antler. I'm just gonna push it all the way. And it's important that you do this fairly quickly. Otherwise, your blue, that periwinkle color, is going to dry on you. And this white blending isn't gonna work so good. If that does happen, just add some fresh periwinkle on. And you don't need much, because you see how far that little bit of color spreads out. I can get that to go a long way. So towards the top here, it's starting to dry on me. I'm just gonna take just the teeniest little bit of my periwinkle color and brush it on. And then get it to smoosh around. I'm gonna add a little bit more periwinkle to the outside edges. I'll do one antler at a time, one little tine. It's a little outlining. And then you can kind of soften your edge. I just got red on my hand. Don't want to set that down. You're just gonna take a little bit of white and just kind of skinny up your line. And I'm gonna go and do that to all of them. A little bit of an outline. Just take a little bit of white over the bit of the edge, just to smooth the line. A little bit of my periwinkle. And then plain white on my dirty brush, kind of on the line to smooth it out. So there's one antler. Maybe a little bit more periwinkle down here. I had like a little missing spot. So there's one, and we're gonna do the exact same thing to the other one. I got a little missed spot. So repeat the process. I'm just taking the straight periwinkle, kind of on the base here, where it comes out of the head. And I'm gonna quickly go around the edges a little. And then plain white, dirty brush, and just get this spread out throughout the whole antler. Then I'll just go in with periwinkle color, just kind of redefine some of my edges and soften them with a little bit of white, just right on top. And I use very little paint on my brush. These spaces are very small, you don't need much. And there's our antlers. I might darken right at the base a little bit. Let's see. So to darken my periwinkle color, I'm just gonna add just a smidge more red. And then right at the base, just kind of give it a little bit of this darker. It's more purpley actually, but it reads darker when it's on the canvas. Okay, so let's do the little snout. I'm gonna switch back to my bigger brush. And it's gonna be the same idea. Nope, I lied. Small brush. I gotta do the little outlining part. So with my periwinkle color, oops, I got water in there. I'm just gonna kind of outline around the edge. I'm gonna do the whole little snout. Just to the top of the lip. So leave this bottom lip alone for now. And just with white paint on my dirty brush, I'm just gonna get that spread all over the rest of his little snout. As that paint is wet, and it's just gonna drag right in with that white. I'm gonna try to go around those little nostril holes. So you get the whole little snout filled. And then whatever's on your brush, you'll have, just grab a little bit of white. You should probably have a little bit of the periwinkle on your brush still. And just fill in this bottom lip. Beautiful. All right, so let's see here. Fill in the eyes. We're just gonna paint those black. A little bit of black and a little brush. And just fill in this whole space. We can jazz these up later. Let's get the base on, excuse me. Oh, that one's kind of sticking out the side of his head. That's okay. And I'm going to fill in the nostril holes and the this little gap between the lip and the snouty thing. So tiny, it's hard to do, especially from my weird angle. Okay, so I got his little mouth. We're gonna let the eyes dry. Let's see, let's do the ears. So I'm gonna make a little bit of pink, small brush. White, tiny bit of red. Stir that in. And a little bit more red. And the inside of the ear. Might as well just paint the whole thing. And we'll go over top of the outside edge later to put the brown in. So just go ahead and paint the ears entirely pink. Okay. I'm gonna go kind of back to the fur. I want some lighter fur in there. He's kind of dark. I want a few highlights. So with my lightest brown, it was this one. I'm just gonna take a little scoop of that and add a scoop of white. Maybe another scoop of white. So I want it light, but not white light. So this is pretty light, and it'll read a lot lighter on the canvas against those darker colors. So just a little bit on your brush. We're just gonna put a few little pops of this lighter brown in for furs. I'm gonna go right above the eye, create kind of like a little eyelid. That one got kind of big. Make this one big. And I'm gonna add some lighter patches down in the body. Maybe a few little furs up in there. Okay, let's see. So the ears, that should be good enough to paint over top of. I'm gonna use this darker brown. Let me just scrape this out. This darker brown. And I'm just gonna go around the outside edge of the ear. I'm just kind of sketching it on. It's not perfect because it's kind of furry. I'm gonna fill in that whole bottom little piece there. Nice dark brown. Then I use that lightest brown that I just made up. And I'm just gonna kind of sketch it in. So we still see a lot of the dark brown, but it gives it a little variation like fur. Okay, so we're gonna work on the eyes. So right now they look creepy and weird. And I'm gonna use my small brush and just a little bit of white. And underneath the eye, kind of on the black and on the brown, I'm gonna put like a little line, like an underline. Also gonna take a little bit of this white, gonna put a bright spot on the lip. Well, not on the black that I just did. On the lip. A couple bright spots up in the antlers. Okay, and we need to put the little reflective light in the eye. Little brush, a little bit of white. And I'm just gonna, on this left-hand side, kind of swoop it down a little. And over here, in the eye. And we're gonna throw some eyelashes in. And you're gonna want a real skinny brush for this. This is gonna be probably the hardest part. And we're gonna put eyelashes on the top. We're going to use kind of like this medium brown. It's the same color as his body when we first started. And I'm gonna just kind of come down and up for a little eyelash. Same on this top, right off the top lid. Just go down and up. And for bottom lashes, we're gonna just kind of do a little swoop downward. And these are itty bitty. It's kind of on the outside. That one got weird. Oh, she's pretty. And lastly, we just need to work on the flower. And I'm gonna start with just white circles. I'm gonna use my smaller brush. And some of those circles aren't too awfully big. So I'm gonna do kind of a bigger flower here, and then two little ones off to the side here. And I'm just gonna use white paint, and you can find a clean spot. So a bigger one right about here. Just fill that right in white. Make it a little bit bigger. And then right to the side, beside it, I'm gonna do a small flower here and a small flower here. And those are gonna need another coat. I'm gonna blow them dry. Just another quick coat of white. This just helps cover that brown underneath. I don't want that to show through our flowers. All right, that works for me. So I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna use my peach color. I've got tons. So I've got my peach color, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of red to kind of make it a little bit more pink. I don't want it to be the exact same color as the background. I want it to have a more pink hue. So about like that. And just go ahead and put another coat on. Right over top of all the white. And your edges can get a little bit more organic now, kind of a little wavy if you want. Those flowers aren't perfectly round. I got too much paint on my brush, it's caking up. I got gobs. And I'm gonna darken this up a little. Same pink, add more red. And I'm just gonna kind of swirl around, adding like little kind of swoops. And then a little bit more red for one last little kind of dark spot inside the flower. With the darkest color, I'm just kind of sticking to the one side for my swoop. So we've got our little flowers. I'm gonna do some little blue flowers too, just to have it then a little bit more interesting. So I've got my periwinkle color. I'm just gonna take a big old blob of blue and stir it into part of it. Got a nice deeper shade now. And above it, I got way too much on my brush. I'm just gonna put like little petal-y shapes. Nothing that actually looks like a flower. I'm just kind of blobbing it in. Then I'm going to take some lighter blue. I don't have any white. How about right there? Just lighten a little area of it. How about right there? I've got some. A little bit more white. And just put some more petals kind of in on that. Next will be leaves. I need a clean spot of white. Let me get some more white. Very much. That'll work. Excuse me. So we're gonna make a very, very light green. I need a little blue, some yellow, a lot more yellow than blue. And then I'm gonna scoop in some white. Got this nice green. And I'm just gonna put in some leaves. So maybe the little guy that comes down here. And I'll need to do a second coat of that just to make sure I've got good coverage. Maybe we can have one sticking out here. And these are just tiny little guys. And there's some coming out here. These can be any which way, wherever you want. And let me squeeze in one more. I'm gonna squeeze in one. How about right here? I'm just gonna go back in and give these another coat. So I'm gonna darken that green up a little. Just take a little bit of blue, stir it in. And just on like kind of the top of your leaf, just throw in a little bit of a shadow. I'm gonna put like little dark centers inside of my little rosette peony things, whatever kind of flowers we want to call them. And I'm just gonna take the tiniest little bit of black and just kind of dab in. And I think we are finished. Let me just step back and give her a look. Make sure she's complete. I'm gonna lighten the inside of those ears a little. Clean brush. I'm just gonna take a little bit of white. They just seem pretty dark to me. And really solid pink. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of white. Just kind of brush in a little bit of white. Yeah, I think that's good. Oh, one more thing I want to do. So we got our periwinkle color over here. Let me get my brush kind of wiped off. I've got periwinkle. I don't need much of this. I'm just going to take a little dab of black. Stir that in. Darken it up. It's kind of like a blue-gray now. So with this color, I'm just gonna kind of define my edge around that a little. Maybe up in here where it's coming out of my, excuse me, under the head. I guess that really wasn't that necessary. Didn't really change things. Sorry, this is the first time I'm painting it, so I'm just figuring it out. How to make him look the best he can. Honestly, I think he's cute. I think we're good. I'm gonna sign my name and collar. Right down here is where I like to sign my name. The peach color, I'll just darken it a little. Add some more of the orange. I'm gonna add some water so I get good flow. Stirring in some water. I just dip my, oh, excuse me. Just dip my brush in water and stir it into the paint. And then I can do it in all one swoop. So that is the end. I hope you enjoyed painting the little moose. He is super cute. Please take pictures of your finished work and post to the pinned post on the top of my Willy-Nilly Facebook page. I love seeing your work. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope. Thank you.